airborne guys. Our legacy well known, the airplane our own, we created a fantastic invention. The engine's huff, the motors puff, as our airplane cuts through the sky. Our invention inspired by a toy that soared. Our invention inspired by a toy that soared high, just like our plane later invented that could also fly. Our printing shop made a newspaper. In the West Side News, our money we didn't lose, instead, money we gained. In later years, the airplane we made, and through that, we gained fame. If you know who we are, fly an airplane, and don't crash. Thank you. We are the Wright brothers.
I am a pirate, a queen, a killer. A statue of me stands on a pillar. First time I am on the ship that I sailed through the storms that rained and hailed. As a queen of the sea, people feared my name. I died in a battle when my side came. If you know who I am, pretend to sail on a ship. Thank you, I am the fearsome pirate Grace O'Malley.
I had my own show. The kids did not want to go. I had no regrets. I was all the puppets. I played the piano. I enjoyed playing for soprano. I was always kind and I never left anyone behind. Shake hands with your neighbor if you know who I am. Thank you. I am Mr. Rogers.
I grew up in Scotland, I moved to Wisconsin, and as an adult, I made a bunch of big parks. I saw lots of things like very big larks, and I heard mountains talking, and when they did, I'd say to my friends, the mountains are calling and I must go. If you know who I am, pretend to hike up a mountain. Thank you, I am John Muir.
My life began in 22, my final breath in 95. My work is yet used today to save countless millions' lives. I never earned a master's in my favorite as a kid, yet chemistry rose up and out, as indeed I did. The others wouldn't accept my work as soon as I would wish, just because I was different. I was a chemist. Raise your hand if you wish, and you know who's this great chemist. I am Louis Pasteur.
I was born in 1452. When my mother abandoned me, I was blue. I became a painter's apprentice. Out into the real world Verrocchio sent us. I moved to Milan in 1482. I was living a life that was made anew. I painted the young girl with ermine. Creating the horse statue made me determined. I moved to Florence in 1500. About flight, I wondered. I moved to France in 1516. Sadly, I died in 1519. If you know who I am, act like you're painting. I am Leonardo da Vinci.
I helped in the Crimean War. Helping others is not a chore. I asked my parents to become a nurse, but my parents thought it would be a curse. I opened a nursing school, and in the nursing world it was a jewel. I'm a strong believer in God, and when I received a dream from him, I was odd. I was called the lady with the lamp, and during the war, the Scutari Hospital is my camp. Pretend to hold a lamp if you know who I am. I am Florence Nightingale.
Hades, where I was a child, I've always liked the wild. I was the first to use bird banding. I did it with a string. Birds I like to draw. At first it was a flaw. I like studying them. To me they were a gem. If you know who I am, pretend to release a bird out of your hands. Thank you. I'm John James Audubon.
My days began when I was a daughter. I loved to cannonball in the water. Swimming was my favorite activity. Swimming the channel was my motivity. Though the English Channel's waters were frigidly cold, I lived till I was very old. If you know who I am, pretend you're swimming. Thank you. I am Gertrude Ederle.
I started by drawing a dude without a beard. Then he grew one, so it looked weird. I created my own game. That's when I got my fame. It is all about life. You can even get a wife. Now there's a huge company named after me. They make so many more games than I thought they could be. If you know who I am, pretend to roll a dice. Thank you. I'm Milton Bradley.
I was born in 1867. In 1878, my mom went to heaven. I found love the 26th of July. I got sick from radium, and I didn't know why. I hoped, like my siblings, to get an advanced degree. I was the first girl to get a French PhD. You could say I'm academical. If you know who I am, play with chemicals. Radioactivity is my game, and Marie Curie is my name.
When I was a kid, I played at local parks, but before I was 10, my dad died and I was sad until dark. Times had passed, but I started to play because I made the women's baseball team, is what I heard the next day. The field I played on was owned by Mr. Wrigley, but when I started to play, it started out kind of jiggly. I was on Rockford Peaches, was my women's team. There were crowds from all over. Now this was my dream. My dream was to be a nurse, but oh well. Winning titles and trophies to share my hard work was like a fairy tale. But 1 year I didn't play baseball. I was hired to be a children's therapist. But then I went back to baseball. But then I retired. Lots and lots of years went by. But then before you know it, in 2010, I said goodbye. If you know who I am, hit a home run. Thank you. I'm Dorothy Payman-Shep.
At the very beginning, I was the eighth of 17 siblings. To school I would go and learn how to sew before ferrying across the river. In a cold winter, some would shiver. Soldiers forced into my home, heading off to war. After that, they would roam. I sewed a large cloth with lace and hung. As a symbol of peace, it swung. If you know who I am, pretend to sew. Thank you. I am Betsy Ross.
As a child, I had an interest in exploring forests and caves, which came in my video games. I made many games, but I made many games, I have to say, but bragging just isn't my way. If you talk about that in public, I will most likely change the subject. If you know who I am, jump like Mariah. Thank you. I'm Shigeru Miyamoto.
I grew up happy, with good inspiration, making wood toys snappy with a good education. In the Great Depression, making a new company, I was forced. I had a question, but I was divorced. That day I had an idea. I made some toys inside of a schema for girls and boys. But when it burned down, the bricks were yellow. From the truck downtown, it was named Lego. If you know who I am, yell Lego. Lego! Thank you. I am Laker Christiansen.
I was born on August 5th, 1930. Most of my chores got me dirty. When I was young, I loved planes. Later in life, I started to train. Little did I know what would happen soon would end up with me as the first on the moon. I lost a child and got a divorce, but that didn't stop me. I stayed on my course. If you know who I am, pretend you're planting a flag into the ground. Thank you. I'm Neil Armstrong.
When you call someone smart, you call them my name. As a physics professor, I had a claim to fame. That guy with frizzy hair, that was me. I created the theory of relativity. One very sad day, I lost my love, but on the very same year, it came back like a dove. One day, a vein collapsed and on April 17, 1955, a vein collapsed and I started to die. To the doctors, I said, "Don't treat it, my days are past." And the very next day, I lived my last. If you know who I am, pretend to be smart. Thank you. I am Albert Einstein.
I coded computers like Harvard Merc 1. The compiler I made helped humans a ton. I found a huge bug in a computer. I coined the term bug for computer failures. I taught mathematics at Vassar College. I pioneered for computer knowledge. Not only did I help devise naval application for COBOL, but I also helped devise the first commercial electronic computer known as UNIVAC 1. If you know who I am, pretend to code a computer. Thank you. I am Grace Brewster Murray Hopper.
1889, the year I was born. Walworth, London, the place I was born. When 12 years have come and gone, I became an actor that people kept their eyes on. 76 years later, night of Christmas Day, from Earth I was whisked away. If you know who I am, make a silly face. I am Charlie Chaplin.
I was born February 15th, 1820. My family owned a farm. When I got older, I became a teacher. I went to a convention at Seneca Falls. I met Elizabeth Cady Stanton and enlisted in her cause to fight for women's rights and help them earn freedom. I presented lots of speeches and soon wrote the Revolution, a newspaper with my thoughts written onto it. I went to jail for illegally voting. It wasn't fair in my opinion. I came out of jail a few years later after I died of pneumonia. If you know who I am, pretend to present a speech. Thank you, I'm Susan B. Anthony.
At age
7, I became blind, but luckily there was an institution nearby. Sad because of my unsuccessful way, and then moving though growing more after fame, playing the piano in separate bands, then moving on with only my hands. Though people thought mixing genres was absurd, then people were passing on the word. If you know who I am, play the piano. Thank you, I'm Ray Charles.
Thank you for